Have you ever wondered why hair turns white as you age? It's a natural process that happens to all of us, but it's not often talked about. So today we're going to explore the science behind gray hair and what causes it. As you may already know, your hair color is determined by melanin, which is a pigment produced by cells called melanocytes. Melanocytes are located in the hair follicle, and there are two types of melanin that they produce: eumelanin, which is responsible for brown and black hair, and pheomelanin, which is responsible for red and yellow hair. The amount and ratio of these two pigments determine your natural hair color. So why does melanin production decrease as you age? Well, it's not entirely clear, but it's thought to be due to a combination of factors. One is simply that your body produces less melanin as you age, just like with skin pigmentation. Another factor is that the melanocytes in your hair follicles die off over time. And finally, the genes that control melanin production can also change as you age. All of these factors combine to result in less melanin being produced, which eventually leads to gray or white hair. But it's important to note that genetics play a big role in how early this process starts. Some people begin to see gray hairs in their 20s or 30s, while others don't see any gray hairs until they're much older. It's also worth noting that gray hair is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, many people embrace their gray hair as a natural part of the aging process. It can be a sign of wisdom and life experience, and it can also just look really stylish and sophisticated. That said, if you do decide to dye your hair, there are some things to keep in mind. First of all, you'll want to make sure that you're using a high-quality dye that's specifically designed for gray or silver hair. This will help ensure that the color looks natural and that it doesn't cause any damage to your hair. You should also avoid using any harsh chemical treatments on your hair, such as perms or relaxers, as these can make gray hair look even more pronounced. Finally, you'll want to be careful when you're blow-drying or flat-ironing your hair, as heat can also contribute to graying hair. If you are concerned about premature graying of your hair, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor. There are a few medical conditions that can cause graying, such as vitiligo and alopecia areata, so it's important to rule out any underlying health concerns. Additionally, chronic stress has been linked to premature graying of hair, so finding ways to manage your stress levels may be helpful. Some people also believe that nutritional deficiencies, such as a lack of vitamin B12 or copper, can contribute to gray hair. However, there is limited evidence to support this claim. Overall, though, it's important to remember that gray hair is a natural part of the aging process, and there's no need to be ashamed of it or feel like you have to hide it. If you do decide to dye your hair, there are certain things that you can do to minimize the appearance of gray hair, but ultimately it's up to you to decide what you feel most comfortable with. So, what are your thoughts on gray hair? Do you embrace it, or do you prefer to dye your hair to cover up the gray? Gray hair is not only a sign of age, but also a symbol of wisdom and life experience. Every strand of gray is a story of dreams, joys, and years lived.